Hey guys, welcome to another video. Today we're looking at the super action statue of Diego Brando from Jojo's Bizarre Adventure Part 7 Steel Ball Run. So if you see my top 10 video, you know that I think this is the best one that Medicos have made. I still think that now, even though Gyro's come out since then. Gyro's very good, but this guy is still the best one. This is the Wonderfest edition. You can see he's got this extra head. And I thought I'd do a review of this guy because he's the best one that I think they have. And also, you know, we've got the second version of him coming out in April next year, which was announced recently. And I'm very excited for that. So I'll definitely be picking him up and maybe doing a comparison later. But yeah, let's get into this guy. So I already have him sort of posed and with the bonus head, his tail, which I will show how to change afterwards. I've not done it in a while, so I might mess that up. But I mean, if we just look at this head sculpt, and I did talk about this previously, there's just so much detail packed into this. And this is really small. Like if I just put my thumb up for comparison, that's how small it is. So the fact that they've managed to pack so much detail into such a small amount of space and paint it so cleanly as well. I mean, you can even see the gaps between the teeth. I think this is just the best work they've done. I mean, you look at some stuff they did, even Gyro, the original Gyro who released around the same time as this. I'll put a picture up now. You can see like it just doesn't compare the quality that they did there. But yeah, I mean, all over. I mean, these guys are all painted from head to toe, but I mean, you can just see how much paintwork there is on the face. You'll probably hear me talk about this face a lot in the video because I just think it's just so nice. It's got the fangs as well. His original head is sort of just a neutral face, and I think this one's really good as well. It's just, you know, if you've got this face, why wouldn't you use it? I mean, I won't be using it for my other Diego because, quick Part 7 spoiler, this is his mid-transformation for Scary Monsters, and then my other Diego I'll be posing with the world. So I'm going to have him in his neutral face because that version of Diego doesn't actually have the Scary Monsters ability. So yeah, original head, you know, still very nice. I think from the back, they're pretty much the same. Yeah, so that's the one it originally comes with. If you get the standard version, that's the one you would have got. Moving on to the rest of his body. So everything here is molded in and then painted on top. So all of this you can see is raised, and this has all been sculpted. His pants as well, you know, all the creases are sculpted in there, and then they're just painted for additional shadows, and everything is just really, really clean. Even on the boots, you can see the shadows there. So overall, you know, just looks-wise, a really, really great figure. His tail as well, it says Dio, 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 Dio all the way through. And that's just really nicely done as well. You can see his spurs on his boots as well. So this guy's just packed full of detail, and that's the reason that I put him as the best of the bunch for these. Also, yeah, these hands, not the ones that come directly out of the box. They've got the claws. May as well talk about accessories now. You do get these hands as well, which are pretty much the same, just without claws. So yeah, with that, you get those on both sides. You also, from the box, get these two fists. And then you have these two other hands, sort of posing hands. One is kind of a relaxed hand. And this one here is a trigger hand. And you can actually take Funny Valentine's pistol or rifle, whatever you want to call this. I'm not a gun expert. Valentine probably is. And then you can have him hold, his head's fallen off. You can have him hold the gun. And if some of you have read Part 7, you will know why he's holding that. So yeah, pretty cool. Doesn't come with the gun, but you know, if you're getting Valentine, you can have him hold that. So I think that's a nice hand that they've included. It doesn't have as many hands as some other figures, but you know, still pretty good. I will put him back. I'll talk about this head peg in a minute because you'll see that that's fallen off a few times. Let's put him back here. Get him posed nicely. Whilst we talk about the rest of his accessories. The other head we have is what we like to call the cabbage head. And this is from the manga as well. I think it's the panel where he's like jumping down the building with his horse. and then he's sort of fully transformed into this dinosaur human hybrid. And when I first got this, I thought, it's kind of stupid looking, but over time it has grown on me. I'll show that on him now. It does work, but it's just that the other two faces are such better quality that I don't think I would ever use this posed. But if you like this, it's pretty cool. It's well done. I mean, I like how this kind of matches his hair, which is quite clever. I think the way that they've done that's pretty good. So yeah. Last accessory he has is his original crotch piece. So out of the box, he comes with this, and then you have to fit the tail on. To change it, a lot of people struggle, but I think it helps if you hold it upside down. You just have to kind of wiggle his legs off. Yeah, okay. It's been a while since I've done this, so I might not be able to get it done immediately. There we go. So yeah, this is actually what I can do is just put his original head on here. And then this is how he is, more or less how he is out of the box. You don't have the claw hands, but these are just on standard pegs, so these are easy to change as well. So what I really like about this character, or this figure I should say, is that you get a lot of different. You don't get tons of accessories. You get. I mean, I think it's quite a lot because you have this tail, which is a huge accessory. But apart from that, it's just a few heads. This head is the Wonderfest edition, as I said. But just for the standard edition, you get the tail and the cabbage head. But what I really like is it's the one that warrants buying two of them because you can have one version posed as normal Diego. And that's kind of how I'm doing it with my blue one. So I'll have the blue one as normal Diego with Part 7 spoiler again, the world. And then you can have next to him with the tail, you can have the cabbage head one. So you can have it just with the standard version, you can have two different Diegos. Whereas, I mean, if you look at like Gyro or Johnny in the background, with them, you just get sort of shouting heads. So, I mean, they don't transform characters, whereas this guy does. So that you wouldn't expect anything like that. But that's what I really like about him. You have two completely different heads and different parts, which will make him two pretty much different characters. And then again, that's another reason he's the best one. Okay, so going over articulation, I did mention earlier that this head is different to the other super action statues. So the original ones have a ball peg here, whereas this is just a standard peg. I actually do prefer this, even though it falls off. I mean, it falls off when you're messing with it, but once it's posed, it won't fall off. And the reason I like this more is because the ball peg for some of the older figures has actually snapped when you're changing the heads, and you have no risk of this because it just goes on and then plugs off like that. And if you put it upside down and wiggle him, it's not going to fall off. It is pretty secure. So I just think it's much better, and it's like that for all of them in Part 7 and Prosciutto from Part 5, which is funny because I've said that he's one of the worst ones, and he actually has one of the good neck joints, so that's pretty good. But yeah, I mean, head can go forward and back. Put him back on. Doesn't go back too far. His hair does sort of hinder it because, if his hair wasn't so long, you would be able to put him in there like that. Let's get him nice and secure and do that again. So yeah, head can go up just a little bit. Goes down quite nicely. Side to side, you don't get any like this because there's no ball peg. So what you have to do is sort of rotate that like that, and then you can plug that in there to get the side to side. Little bit of extra work, but definitely worth it not to snap the pegs. Shoulders will come up about 90 degrees on each side, slightly less. They will go forward. I mean, all the way around they can go. But yeah, forward and back with no problems. The bicep swivel is actually built into the elbow here, so you can see these will rotate here, and that's really nice. You don't have any joint there or any swivel there. Double jointed elbows. At the wrists, you have a ball peg, just like everything, just like all of the other ones. or ball joint, I should say. There's no peg on the end. And then you get good wrist articulation there. His diaphragm joint is not too bad. You know, you don't get tons of range, but enough for this character, I would say. His hips, you can rotate them very nicely, and then they will move sort of forward and back pretty well. Legs, so these don't really get in the way, but you know, if you're pulling them straight out like this, he doesn't get that much range there. But if you sort of bring them forward a bit, you can get him to pretty much do the splits. And then if you are going forward and back, it will come up straight forward that much. Backwards, that's where it starts to get hindered by the creases in his clothes there. So that doesn't go back too far. But again, you can sort of pull it out a bit and rotate it, and you'd get a bit more range. For the knees, double jointed knees, just like the elbows, those are pretty nice. And then down to here, we have an ankle swivel, which doesn't pivot too much side to side, just a little bit. But I mean, these ones you can pose them with the bases, so you don't need to have like a Bandai figure where you need that ankle rocker so you can get the pose. But yeah, actually, you know, looking at it again, it's pretty good. And finally, a toe hinge, which they seem to freeze quite often on super action. They're either super loose or super tight. It's always a bit of a lucky draw with those, I'd say. So yeah, you know, overall, that head, you know, I didn't realize it at first, but it can be a bit annoying. But overall, you know, this is a really good figure, definitely. I mean, I still think it's the best one that they've made. I would absolutely recommend getting this if you're... I think the standard version you can still find pretty easily for about $70. So definitely worth getting. Definitely worth getting the second one that's coming out in April as well. Get that with the horse as well, and you will get this bonus head for the for that version there. I'm not sponsored by them. Don't mind being sponsored by them if they want to do that. But yeah, I will do some quick height comparisons just so you can see how he compares to some other lines. So I'll just move him back there. We have him pretty much stood in a regular pose. Let me just straighten him up. Okay, so the first one I want to compare him to is his counterpart, or his alternate universe counterpart, Diego Brando from Part 1. I was going to compare him to the Part 3 one as well, but couldn't be bothered to get him out of the collection, to be honest. So yeah, you can see the Part 1 figures are significantly taller. That's just how they've made them. I think this scale is nicer. This guy, his proportions are a bit weird. Jonathan looks good, but you know, you can see he's a lot bigger. For some other lines, I have a SH Fig Arts Kamen Rider, and these are pretty similar height. You know, Diego stood on the base, so if I put them together like that, hey, that could be his world. But yeah, I think these look pretty good together. I mean, height-wise, I would never pose them together because that doesn't make any sense. But yeah, height-wise, you know, pretty similar to an SH Fig Art. And then lastly, I have a Lightning Collection. And this is kind of to do a Hasbro comparison. I don't have any Marvel Legends, but this guy is about the same height as a standard Marvel Legend. So if I put those together, again, pretty similar height. This guy's proportions are just a bit bigger. I mean, you can see the head size difference there. So that's how he would compare to a Hasbro figure. And that is going to wrap up the video. So put him in the front. Yeah, if you enjoyed that, you know, let me know in the comments if you want to see more of these reviews for Jojo figures. I know that my Jojo ones are the ones that seem to get most likes because Jojo fans are kind of, you know. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next one.